Edit that part up.
Yeah, it is because he's the youngest person in the heavyweight division right now.
Yeah.
I think that has to be it. Or if he's not the youngest, he's very close to being the youngest fighter in the heavyweight division.
Yeah. Did
This
not look good.
Sergey Spivak guy might be slightly younger than him. I couldn't tell his age by looking at him.
How many fights does Sergey have in the UFC? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Oh, we're back live?
Play.
So here's the thing, right?
Okay.
We got to get into the main event. And I'm going to lead with honesty. I had flip-flopped back and forth for weeks on this.
Everyone had. You're not alone.
My mind told me that Israel was going to come in and pick Robert Whittaker apart based on what I'd seen with his striking, with Yoel, and really reminiscent. As you're listening to this, if anyone's really into fighting, go back and watch his fight, Robert Whittaker, that is, watch his fight with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and it plays out.
At 170.
Yeah, at 170, and it plays out. The last fight he had at 170, pretty much the same way.
Sure.
Taller guy.
Longer. Strikes backwards, not forwards.
Exactly. Extremely pipeline striker, just right down the pipe. And he tagged Robert, and tonight it was more of a flux in transition while they were looping at each other. Also,
twice.
Twice. I mean,
Twice in the exact same
first round.
But he hit him in the exact same spot.
Yes.
Twice. The issue with Whittaker is that he was fighting so far from the outside that he had to lunge in 2 steps, then throw a punch, where Adesanya, he fights the way that Conor used to fight, right? He fights forward with his hips forward and his shoulders back, so then he just leans in and hits you, and then he's actually so much farther away.
He fights the correct way for someone fighting tall. Like, his evasion
straight
isn't
up.
just him pulling his head back. Like, he keeps his arm kind of loose.
He did make Whittaker miss about, I want to say 10 times with just leaning back out of the way, and his defense is incredible.
He never went to the body once, Robert Whittaker.
No.
Not once.
He kicked him in the body once.
Once in the body.
He kicked him in the body once.
I expected after being dropped in the first round, they said, okay, let's stop headhunting and let's go for some body shots, some hooks to the body. We're missing too much. Maybe punch him in the chest, and then, if you're going body, the head will present itself.
Eventually.
But that never happened.
No. I'm not sure after the first round he knew where he was, to be completely honest. He came out the second round with the same Robert Whittaker pace, but with no defense, with no wherewithal of where he was throwing the punches. It was just, I got knocked out in the first round.
Yeah.
He got hit, and the bell rang before he hit the ground.
Yes.
This is how close to the end of the first round that this was. He came out in that second round and
the ref could have stopped it there. Actually, he could have said
for sure he should have almost, but he didn't. Robert Whittaker came out in the second round, threw the exact same combo, lunged in 2 steps, threw an overhand right, or no, he threw a right jab.
He threw an overhand. That one actually kind of clipped Stylebender.
It hit him. No, it didn't clip him. It hit him. It hit him hard.
He threw a sloppy left return.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hit him with it, and then hit him with a right, and then hit him with the left again, and just dropped him, wobbled him, dropped him, got him on top, and finished him.
So I think the thing that I like most what I see from Stylebender, even though I'm not really, I won't say I'm a fan. I don't actually have anything against the kid other than he called out the great saint of this country, John Jones, on Twitter.
Multiple occasions.
I think that I like the fact that his. You really can't pin. A lot of fighters say things like, "Oh, I'm much different this time than I was in the last fight," and he came out and he made huge adjustments. Like, he took a lot of damage in his fight with Kelvin
Gastelum.
Kelvin.
It's Kelv, not
Kelvin.
Callv.
How do you pronounce it?
Kelvin.
Kevin Gastelum.
Good old
Kev from Van Nuys used to be a bail bondsman. That's a true story. But he took a lot of damage in that fight. And it was interesting because you were like, okay, so this guy can be touched. He can be hit by a shorter man who's coming in with a lot of pressure.
Yep.
I think Mr. Gastelum's boxing is a little bit tighter than Robert Whittaker's looping.
That's exactly what it looked like. Yeah,
and,
that was a better fight.
It was a much better fight
overall, but the Adesanya that we fought there and then fought Whittaker was two different people. For sure.
Leagues better. So what do you think about the next fight? Him and Mr. That guy's on steroids.
Paulo Costa?
He's on all
He's never been tested by USADA. He's has been tested 0 times. No, I think Adesanya does the exact same thing he just did to Whitaker. He picks him apart until he hits him with a counter left or a counter right and puts him down.
Actually, if,
I don't think it gets any better.
if you're thinking that Acosta is a world beater, go back and watch, even before his fight with Yoel, watch his fight with Uriah Hall, who was once upon a time touted as a great fighter.
Okay.
Still one of my favorite fighters. I actually like him as a person.
Uriah Hall is an interesting guy.
Uriah Hall dropped him.
Really?
And he has, and that guy can be touched. For all his muscles and all his power, he does not have good head movement, and he's
Well, I
gonna
mean, we saw that same thing with Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley can get touched too,
yeah,
and he's same style.
sure.
He's an
Charging
extremely muscular man. He's
in very good shape. My man.
in very good shape. He's also never been tested by USADA, as it turns out.
Who? He gets all the tests.
Yeah, that's
What's the next card that's coming up?
a good question. UFC Fight Night 161. That is Joanna versus Michelle Waterson.
We'll be doing a post fight on that one, folks. We'll probably just be doing the Discord on that one because it's not a pay-per-view event, and people only allowed over my house for pay-per-view events. That's
a good
That is
point.
the rule.
Are we making an exception for?
She's gonna get killed in there.
Yeah, she's gonna get killed for sure. Are we making an exception for?
Oh, who's Junior Dos Santos
I
fighting?
don't care. No one cares.
Wait,
When is? Oh, Jan Blanchowicz. Oh, he's fighting Jacare.
oh yeah, Jan Blanchard.
Alexander Volkov. JDS is gonna get destroyed.
Yeah, no, he's gonna beat Volkov.
Oh, okay. I didn't think this was a pay-per-view.
What,
The George Masvidal versus
No, that's a pay-per-view. That's
Nathaniel
the
Diaz. That's the 500 live event for the UFC.
that's the Banff, right? Banff.
Yeah, whatever. I had a really good edit on that. But yeah, but that's the next card is the Joanna versus Michelle Waterson.
So we got
Which-
Cub Swanson and what should be his last fight against Kron Gracie.
Yeah, unless Cub comes out and wins and stuffs Kron, but Kron's gonna Imanari roll into a leg lock, like he did to his last fight, didn't he?
He's only had one fight in the UFC. Who did he fight? It was Alexander. It was Bruce Leroy, whatever his name is,
Yes,
and he choked that poor guy out. One of my favorite fighters,
Alex Caceres.
Caceres.
I don't know how to say his name. It was
That's correct.
literally like a really quick submission. Kron's good.
Kron is good, but we haven't seen him tested. This is a huge jump in
Cub Swanson's a
competition
good test, yeah.
for him, and Cub Swanson's also good off the ground. You wouldn't be able to tell with his losses against Max Holloway. Who else? Frankie Edgar. He got dominated in both those fights on the ground. I think Douglas Lima also beat, not Lima, what's the guy's name from Chicago?
You're out of my Roman knowledge here, bud. You're gonna
Hold
think
on,
this
for
by
sure.
yourself.
Cub Swanson says Jiu-Jitsu school declined to train him because he's fighting a Gracie.
That's fair. I believe that's fair. He shouldn't be able to go to any jiu-jitsu school in the country. You're gonna have to go to Japan and learn old Japanese
school
Japanese jiu-jitsu. So it turned out he lost to Ricardo Lamas, not Douglas Lima. It was close enough. We're just gonna move on from that one.
Listen, we thought these fights were going to be more exciting, and we were going to have more content for you tonight.
It wasn't even a non-exciting thing. We both thought it was going the other way.
Yes, tonight we both agreed that Robert Whitaker was going to win
We thought,
with passion.
but that's the thing about the UFC. And that's what makes the UFC so great. Is
I
that
bet $400 no. that Robert Whitaker was going to be able to make it a little bit more dirtier, make it a dirty fight, and be able to hurt him in ways that made the gas limit hurt him, and we just didn't see any of that. I'm still flabbergasted. I'm sure before Zach edits this, we'll circle back, but I don't think I have anything else left to say other than you're
Anyway.
choking my dog now.
Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? That's
It's
getting
okay.
cut.
No. Sure. For Ghost Recon.
Sure.